My best friend's dad gave me a ride. What he did in the car left me speechless. The engine's low rumble cut through the still morning air like a secret finally spilling out. I was Ethan, 20 years old, crammed into the passenger seat of Mark's beat-up Ford pickup, my backpack wedged between my sneakers on the floorboard that smelled faintly of oil and pine air freshener. My heart hammered against my ribs, not from the early wake-up or the fact that I'd missed my bus after crashing at Alex's place the night before. No, it was him, Mark, Alex's dad, the man who'd always been there in the background of our lives. Like the steady hum of a radio you forget is playing until it stops. We'd pulled out of the driveway just as the sun crested the rooftops of our sleepy Ohio suburb, painting the sky in streaks of pink and orange that made everything feel too damn exposed. Alex, my best friend since we were kids trading baseball cards in the cul-de-sac, had waved us off from the porch, his lanky frame silhouetted against the screen door. "Don't let Dad bore you with his war stories," he'd yelled, grinning that easy, oblivious smile of his. If only he knew. If only I could rewind the clock to yesterday, when a spilled beer at the backyard barbecue had led to a conversation that cracked open something inside me I didn't even know was locked. Mark shifted gears, the truck lurching forward onto the empty street lined with ranch-style houses and American flags fluttering lazily from porches. He was 45, built like the cars he fixed for a living, solid, unyielding, with calloused hands that gripped the wheel like it owed him money. His flannel shirt hugged shoulders broadened by years under hoods at the local garage, and that salt and pepper stubble caught the light, making him look equal parts rugged dad and something dangerously else. Divorced 5 years now, since his wife ran off with some salesman from Cleveland, he'd raised Alex alone, turning their 2-car garage into a shrine of tools and half-fixed engines. Me? I was the kid from down the block, the one who'd always tagged along, crashing on their couch after late-night video game marathons. Gay, though I'd never said it out loud to them. Not to Alex, who chased girls like they were touchdowns. And sure as hell not to Mark, whose deep laugh could make my stomach flip in ways that scared me shitless. "You okay over there, kid?" His voice rumbled low, pulling me from the window where I'd been tracing fog from my breath. He glanced over, those hazel eyes crinkling at the corners, the kind of look that said he saw right through you without trying. I swallowed hard, the leather seat creaking under me. "Yeah, just tired. Thanks for the ride again, Mr. H." I forced a chuckle, but it came out thin, like smoke from a dying fire. "Call me Mark. How many times I gotta tell ya?" He reached over, clapping a hand on my knee. Firm, paternal, but it lingered a beat too long, his thumb brushing denim in a way that sent heat crawling up my thigh. I froze, the cab suddenly too small, the air thick with the scent of his aftershave, something woodsy and worn in like old leather. My pulse thrummed in my ears, louder than the tires humming over cracked asphalt. We talked last night, after Alex passed out on the recliner, snoring through a rerun of some action flick. I'd wandered out to the garage for air, found Mark nursing a beer under the fluorescent buzz, tinkering with a carburetor that gleamed like it was his only friend. "Can't sleep?" he'd asked, sliding me a cold one without a word. One beer turned to 2, words tumbling out about college stresses, my crappy part-time gig at the coffee shop, how Alex and I were drifting since freshman year. Then, quieter, he'd shared his own ghosts. The divorce, the loneliness that hit like a winter freeze, how fixing engines was easier than fixing a heart. "You're a good kid, Ethan," he'd said, his voice dropping an octave, eyes locking on mine in the dim light. "Better than most. Alex is lucky to have you." His hand had squeezed my shoulder then, heavy and warm, and I'd felt it. A spark, electric and forbidden, coiling low in my gut. I'd mumbled something stupid and bolted inside. But sleep? Yeah, right. I'd lain awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, replaying that touch until dawn. Now, 10 miles into the drive toward campus, the radio crackled with some classic rock station. Springsteen crooning about born to run dreams that felt a million miles from this truck. Mark drummed his fingers on the dash, the rhythm syncing with my erratic heartbeat. So, what's the real story? You and Alex seemed off last night. Fight? I shifted, the seatbelt digging into my collarbone. Lie or truth? The main conflict stared me down like headlights in the dark. I was in love with my best friend's dad. Or at least, that's what the twist in my chest screamed every time he smiled. It wasn't just some crush. It was a storm brewing, threatening to uproot everything. Our friendship, his quiet life, my fragile grip on normal. Nah, just guy stuff. I hedged, watching his profile, the way his jaw tightened under that stubble. A sigh escaped him, soft and resigned, like wind through pines. The road curved, suburbs giving way to fields of cornstalks whispering in the breeze, golden under the rising sun. A crow cawed overhead, sharp and mocking. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Alex, probably texting about brunch plans, but I ignored it, fingers twisting the hem of my shirt. Mark, about last night. He cut me off with a glance, intense, like he'd been waiting. Pull over. The truck veered onto a gravel shoulder, dust kicking up in a hazy cloud that smelled of earth and exhaust. Engine idling, he killed the radio, the sudden silence roaring in my ears. His hands flexed on the wheel, knuckles whitening. Ethan, shit. A pause, heavy as the humid air pressing in. He turned fully, facing me, and in that moment, under the wide Ohio sky, I saw it. The mirror of my own turmoil in his eyes, raw and unguarded. My breath hitched, a small sound in the vast quiet. His hand moved again, this time not to my knee but to my cheek, rough palm cupping it with a gentleness that shattered me. I've been thinking about you. Too much. The words hung there, simple and seismic, his thumb tracing my jawline, sending shivers down my spine. I leaned in, or maybe he didn't matter. Our lips met, tentative at first, tasting of coffee and regret, then deeper, hungry, the kind of kiss that rewrites your history. The world narrowed to that cab. The creak of the seat as I angled toward him, the faint metallic tang of his skin, the way his free hand tangled in my hair, pulling just enough to make me gasp. It was wrong, God, so wrong. But in that stolen breath, it felt like the only truth I'd ever known. Horns blared distantly on the highway, but we were islands, adrift in a sea of what-ifs. When we broke apart, foreheads pressed together, his breath ragged against my lips, he whispered, "This can't happen, Alex." The conflict crashed back, a wave cold and unrelenting. My best friend. The betrayal stung like gravel under tires. But Mark's eyes, stormy with want and war, held me captive. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, voice gravelly, fingers still threading through my hair. Couldn't. Instead, I kissed him again, harder, the truck rocking slightly as I climbed half into his lap, hands fumbling with buttons that wouldn't yield. Laughter bubbled up, nervous and real, cutting the tension like sunlight through clouds. "You're stuck with me now," I teased, but my voice cracked, emotion swelling, fear, joy, the ache of years unspoken. We drove on after that, hands brushing shifters, stolen glances loaded with promise and peril. Campus loomed ahead, a brick and ivy fortress of normalcy I wasn't sure I could face. But as the truck pulled up to the dorm curb, engine ticking cool, Mark's hand found mine one last time. "Tonight? Garage. After Alex crashes." His squeeze was firm, a vow sealed in sweat and secrets. I nodded, stepping out into the crisp air, backpack slung heavy. The door slammed, echoing my pounding heart. What had we done? What came next? The questions swirled like leaves in the wind, but beneath them, a spark flickered. Hope, maybe, or the start of something that could burn us all down. That ride, it left me speechless, all right, and it was just the beginning. Back on campus, The world spun on without a hitch, but I was unraveling, thread by thread. Ditched my morning psych lecture, slumped in the student union instead, nursing a black coffee that tasted like regret, bitter, scalding, sliding down my throat like the weight of what I'd done. The place buzzed with the usual chaos. Girls in yoga pants scrolling TikTok, some frat dude belting out off-key karaoke to a crowd of hungover laughs. But I was elsewhere, replaying the kiss in loops that made my skin flush hot under my hoodie. Mark's mouth on mine, firm and searching, the scratch of his stubble like sandpaper on silk. Jesus, Ethan, get a grip. My phone lit up. Alex. Dude, where you at? Practice in 20. Coach will kill us. Shit. Lacrosse. The one thing that kept me tethered to sanity. Stick in hand. Cleats pounding turf until my lungs burned clean. I typed back a lame excuse about traffic, pocketed the phone, and bolted for the field, wind whipping through the quad's oak trees, carrying the faint scent of fallen leaves and distant rain. Practice was brutal, a blur of sprints and checks that left bruises blooming on my shins like dark secrets. Alex drilled beside me, all focus and fire, his ponytail swinging as he scooped ground balls with that effortless grace. You look like hell, man, he panted during water break, tossing me a Gatorade that fizzed open with a hiss. His eyes, blue and guileless, searched mine. Dad say something weird on the ride? He's been in a mood lately. My stomach twisted, the plastic bottle crinkling in my grip. Nah, just family stuff on my end. I tasted sour, but what choice? Tell him his old man had mapped my mouth with his tongue? That I'd moaned into the kiss like a guy starved? No. Alex clapped my back, hard enough to jolt me. Spill later. Beers after. I nodded, forcing a grin, but inside, the conflict gnawed, loyalty fracturing under desire's blade. Evening fell soft over the dorms, street lamps flickering on like hesitant confessions. I showered off the sweat, steam clouding the mirror where my reflection stared back, lips still swollen, eyes wild. Dressed in jeans and a clean tee, the fabric soft against skin that remembered Mark's touch. Hitchhiked back to the suburb, thumb out under sodium glow, a rusty sedan pulling over with a rattle that matched my nerves. The driver, some chatty retiree, droned about grandkids, but I barely heard, mind racing ahead to the garage's pull. Alex's house glowed warm from the street, porch light a beacon. I slipped in through the side door, the kitchen smelling of leftover meatloaf and dish soap. Alex sprawled on the couch, controller in hand, Xbox humming with gunfire. There you are. Dad's out back, probably elbow deep in that Chevy again. He didn't look up, thumbs mashing buttons. Guilt stabbed, sharp as a splinter. This was our ritual, nights blurring into dawn, brothers in all but blood. How could I shatter that? Grab a brew, I offered, cracking the fridge, the cold blast raising goosebumps on my arms. Yeah, and don't hog the pizza menu. Laughter easy as always. But as I handed him the bottle, condensation slick between us. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Doors open. Come when you can. Mark. Heart slamming. I pocketed it, the screen's glow burning in my palm. We ordered extra pepperoni, the delivery guy's knock punctuating bad jokes and trash talk. Alex demolished slices like they were opponents, sauce smearing his chin, oblivious to the clock ticking toward midnight. My appetite fled, replaced by a hollow ache, every bite ash on my tongue. You sure you're good? He asked again, mid-game, pausing the screen where pixels froze in chaos. I set down my half-eaten crust, the cardboard box greasy under my fingers. Just thinking about that psych paper. Deadlines, you know? Truth bent, but close enough. His nod was sympathetic, a sigh escaping as he restarted the level, explosions blooming in digital fire. By 1 a.m., his head lolled back, snores rumbling soft. The living room dimmed, TV casting blue flickers over his peaceful face. I waited, breath shallow, counting the rise and fall of his chest. 10 minutes. 15. Then, silent as shadow, I rose, socks whispering over carpet worn thin by years. The garage door creaked open on oiled hinges, cool night air rushing in with the tang of motor oil and sawdust. Moonlight slanted through the window, silvering tools hung neat on pegboard walls. Mark stood by the workbench, back to me, shoulders tense under his faded Henley. A single bulb hummed overhead, casting his shadow long and lean. He turned slow, like he felt my presence in his bones. You came. Words failed, throat tight. Instead, I crossed the concrete floor, cold seeping through soles, until inches separated us. His eyes, dark in the low light, traced my face. Hungry, hesitant. We shouldn't, he murmured, but his hand lifted, fingers ghosting my collarbone, igniting sparks. Then why does it feel right? My voice cracked, raw. I closed the gap, pressing against him, the hard plane of his chest yielding just enough. His exhale was a groan, low and broken, vibrating through me as our mouths crashed together. No tentative this time. Fierce, devouring, tongues tangling in a dance of need. His hands roamed, one fisting my shirt to yank me closer, the other sliding under, palm hot on bare skin, tracing ribs that quivered under touch. We stumbled back against the Chevy, its hood cool metal at my spine, tools clattering faint from the bench. Mark's stubble rasped my neck as he trailed kisses down, nipping collarbone, eliciting a gasp that echoed off cinderblock walls. Ethan, he breathed, name a prayer and curse, fingers deft at my belt, leather whispering free. The air thickened, charged with our mingled breaths, short, sharp, desperate. Clothes shed in hurried pulls, pooling at ankles like discarded lies. His body was a revelation. Muscled from labor, scarred faintly from shop mishaps, skin warm and real under my exploring hands. I traced the line of his hip, dipping lower, drawing a hiss from lips parted in surrender. He lifted me onto the hood, effortless, the engine's ghost warmth seeping through. Our rhythm built slow, then frantic, skin sliding slick, moans muffled against shoulders, the garage a cocoon of sweat and sighs. After, we lay tangled in the truck bed under a tarp, stars winking through the half-open door. His head on my chest, heartbeat sinking to mine, steady thrum. This is crazy, he whispered, fingers interlacing, calluses rough against smooth. Yeah. I kissed his temple, salt tang on lips. But it's ours. Emotion swelled, a tide of tenderness amid the storm. For the first time, the conflict felt surmountable. Not a wall, but a bridge rickety but real. Dawn crept in, gray light filtering. We dressed in silence, touches lingering. A brush of knuckles, a stolen peck. See you tomorrow? He asked, voice thick. Count on it. I slipped out, garage door whispering shut behind. The house slept on, innocent. But me, I was awake, alive, terrified, and utterly, hopelessly his. Weeks blurred into a secret rhythm, each stolen hour a high-wire act over the abyss. Mornings, I'd wake in my dorm bed, sheets twisted from dreams of Mark's hands, strong, sure, mapping me like a blueprint he knew by heart. Coffee in the Union, black and scalding, burned away the fog, but not the ache low in my belly, a constant hum of want. Classes dragged, professors' voices droning like distant traffic while my mind replayed garage nights. The workbench's edge biting my palms, Mark's growl vibrating against my throat, the sharp inhale when I'd arch just so. Alex noticed nothing at first, too buried in midterms and his latest crush, a sorority girl with laugh like wind chimes. We'd grab wings at the dive bar off campus, grease-slick fingers clinking bottles, trading stories of hookups he bragged about and ones I fabricated, thin veils over truth. You're glowing, man, he'd say one Tuesday, elbowing me over nachos that steamed with jalapeno bite. Finally get some action? His grin was pure, teasing, slicing me open. I laughed it off, beer foam clinging to my upper lip, but inside, panic flared, hot, choking. Something like that. Swallowed the lie with a swig, the hops bitter as betrayal. How long could I juggle this? Alex, my anchor since sandbox days, blind to the knife I wielded. Mark, his rock, cracking under waves of guilt we drowned in afterglow. Our meats shifted, adaptive as thieves. When Alex crashed early, I'd text Mark from the porch swing, its chains creaking soft in night breeze, scented with jasmine from the neighbor's fence. He'd pull up in the truck, headlights off, engine a purr that matched my pulse. We'd drive, aimless loops through back roads, cornfields silver under moon. Radio low with Dylan rasping about tangled destinies. Parked at Makeout Point overlooks, windows fogged, we'd lose ourselves. His mouth hot on my chest, fingers deft and demanding, drawing whimpers I'd bite back against his shoulder, leather seat sticky under us. One night, rain lashed the windshield like accusations, thunder rumbling distant threats. We were in the cab, clothes damp from a dash from the house, my hair plastered, his shirt clinging translucent. Tell me something real, I murmured, straddling him, rain drumming a frantic beat, his hands stilled on my hips, thumbs circling bone, eyes stormy as the sky. He sighed, deep and weary, forehead to mine, water dripping from lashes. I dream about you, every night, waking up alone. It kills me. Vulnerability cracked his voice, raw edge slicing through me. I cupped his face, stubble pricking palms, kissed the confession from his lips, slow, deep, tasting salt of rain and tears unspoken. But the high always crashed. Next morning, Alex cornered me post-run, sweat cooling on our skin as we stretched on the dew-kissed field. Dad asked about you yesterday, said you been scarce. His tone casual but eyes sharp, probing. The air smelled of wet grass and effort, my quads burning from sprints that couldn't outrun this. Busy with that paper? I lied again, hamstring pulls stinging like conscience. He bought it or seemed to, clapping my back with a "Don't ghost us, bro." But as he jogged off, ponytail bouncing, doubt seated dark, twisting. That weekend, the storm broke. Alex's birthday bash at the house. Backyard strung with lights that twinkled like false stars. Burgers sizzled on the grill, smoke curling acrid sweet, laughter rising with the bonfire's crackle. I arrived late, heart pounding from the drive. Mark's text burning. Be careful tonight. Miss you already. 2 beers in, and Alex pulled me aside, breath beery, face flushed. What's up with you? Snapping at Kyle earlier, zoning out. Spill. Guilt surged, hot as the grill's heat. It's nothing, man. Rough week. But his stare held, unyielding, the fire popping sparks that mirrored my fraying nerves. Then Mark emerged from the kitchen, tray of reds in hand, his smile easy for the crowd but loaded when it landed on me, brief, electric. Alex waved him over. Dad. Tell Ethan he's being a cryptic asshole. Laughter, but Mark's eyes flickered, hand brushing mine as he passed the tray. Accidental to all but us, fire igniting veins. Ethanol's just growing up, Mark rumbled, voice warm gravel, winking at me. The nickname, old joke from my chemnerd phase, landed like a bomb. Alex howled, but I flushed, pulse roaring, excusing myself to the garage's shadow. There, amid oil cans and shadows, Mark found me minutes later, door clicking shut. You okay? His whisper urgent, hands framing my face, thumbs wiping phantom tears. Alex knows something's off. Panic clawed, breath hitching. It's eating me alive. He pulled me close, chest solid, heartbeat a drum against mine. We'll figure it. Kiss fierce, grounding, but thunder rolled outside, literal omen-like, rumbling warning. Party raged on, but tension coiled. Later, as guests thinned, Alex slumped beside me on the porch steps, stars pricking black sky, beer bottle sweating in his grip. Love you, man. Whatever's bugging you, I'm here. His head on my shoulder, brotherly weight crushing. Tears pricked, hot and unbidden. Love you too. Voice thick, the words a bridge and a blade. Mark watched from the doorway, silhouette etched in light, expression unreadable, love, loss, longing woven tight. That night, no stolen hour. I drove home alone, wipers slashing rain, radio silent. In bed, sheets cold, the conflict peaked. Love for two men, irreconcilable. Sleep came fitful, dreams of fractures, glass shattering, hearts too. Morning light filtered gray, phone buzzing. Mark, talk soon? Then Alex. Coffee? Need my wingman. Two worlds pulling, threads fraying to snap. I chose neither, staring at ceiling cracks like maps to escape. But deep down, knew the climax brewed. Confrontation inevitable. Emotions a powder keg waiting spark. The fracture hit mid-November. Leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones as frost nipped the air crisp and unforgiving. Campus thrummed with Thanksgiving prep. Turkey smells wafting from dining halls. Students hauling duffels homeward. Me? I was a ghost, haunting lecture halls with half-hearted notes. Mind miles away in that garage where Mark and I had carved our fragile world. Our last meet haunted me. A hurried tangle in his truck after a campus game. Bleachers echoing distant cheers. His body pinning mine against the door panel. Breaths fogging glass in frantic clouds. Can't lose this, he'd growled. Teeth grazing my ear, sending shudders rippling. But post-climax haze. Guilt shadowed his eyes. Dark, deepening. Alex mentioned you seem distant. We gotta cool it. Cool it? The words iced my veins, colder than the November wind. We'd parted with a kiss that tasted of goodbye. His hand lingering on the gearshift as taillights faded. Days stretched, texts sparse. Miss you from him, busy from me. Lies stacking like cordwood. Alex filled the void, dragging me to the lake for one last paddle before freeze. Canoe slicing still water, oars dipping rhythmic splashes, mist rising ethereal from the surface. Dad's been weird too, he confessed, paddle pausing, droplets beating on blades. Snapping at work calls, staring off. You two fight or something. Heart stuttered, or slipping, sending ripples wide. Nah, why? Voice steady, but palms slick on wood. He shrugged, water lapping hull soft. Just, feels like secrets. Hate that shit. His laugh forced, but eyes hurt. Betrayed already, unknowingly. Guilt gnawed deeper. A rat in my gut. Back on shore, gravel crunching under boots. Phone vibrated. Mark, garage. Now, please. Urgency bled through pixels. I told Alex I had a shift. Hugged him quick. Too quick. His cologne lingering, familiar as home. The drive blurred. Suburbs smearing past. Radio crooning Mellencamp about small-town blues that hit too close. Pulled into the driveway. Truck absent. House dark but garage aglow like a confessional. Door ajar, inviting doom. Mark paced inside. Shadow boxing light, turning sharp at my step. Ethan. Name a exhale, ragged. He looked wrecked. Stubble overgrown. Eyes ringed shadow. Flannel rumpled like he'd slept in it. What's wrong? I crossed arms, concrete cold under sneakers, air thick with solvent sting. He stopped, inches away, heat radiating. Everything. This. Gesture between us, hand trembling faint. I saw Alex today, hugging you goodbye at the field. Looked so happy. Because of you. Voice cracked, raw as stripped wire. I'm destroying that. No. I reached, but he stepped back, collision imminent. Yes, I'm his father, Ethan. You're his brother. This, fist to chest, thud dull. It's poison. Tears glistened, unashamed, carving tracks down cheeks weathered by sun and sorrow. Emotion crested, tidal love, fury, despair crashing. You think I don't know? Every kiss, every touch, it's a knife in me too. Voice rose, echoing off walls lined with wrenches like silent judges. But I can't stop. I love you, Mark. God help me, I do. He froze, breath hitching sharp, then surged forward, crashing into me, mouth desperate, hands clutching like lifelines. We fell against the workbench, tools jangling protest, his body hard and yielding, mine arching frantic. Rain started outside, pattering roof insistent, mirroring our frenzy. Shirts rucked up, skin fever hot, moans swallowed in the storm. He took me there, bent over the hood's edge, slow at first, tender, reverent, then building, thrusts deep and claiming. His palms splayed on my back, anchoring. Love you, he gasped, words punched out with each rock, sweat slicking us, the air electric with salt and need. Climax shattered us, waves crashing silent screams, bodies quaking in unison. Collapsed after, on a nest of drop cloths, his head pillowed on my thigh, fingers tracing lazy circles on skin. Rain eased to drizzle, tapping Morse code of uncertainty. We tell him, I whispered, threading hair graying at temples. Mark tensed, sigh heavy. How? Ruin everything. Together. Truth's the only way. Heart hammered, but resolve hardened, steel in spine. He nodded, reluctant dawn. Tomorrow, after you head home for break. Break. Family dinners, forced cheer, secrets simmering under gravy boats. Dread coiled, but his kiss soft, sealing, steeled me. Drove back under clearing skies, wipers swiping last drops, radio humming quiet. Dorm loomed, light in Alex's window a beacon and blade. Texted him, home safe, turkey time, dots danced, then hell yeah, dad's cooking. Irony bit sharp, packed that night, duffel zipping loud in silence, mind a whirlwind. Slept fitful, dreams of confessions, words tumbling, faces crumpling. Thanksgiving dawned crisp, frost etching windows like lace. Bus ride home, fields barren under gray, my reflection pale in glass. House smelled of roasting bird as I let myself in, mom's hug warm, flower dusted. Missed you, kiddo. But eyes skipped to the door waiting for Alex for normal. He arrived boisterous, pie in hand, Mark trailing with casserole, eyes meeting mine across threshold, loaded, longing. Dinner table groaned under platters, silverware clinking toasts, laughter bubbling over cranberry tartness. But under, tension thrummed, foot brushing mine accidental, sending jolts. Post-feast, dishes sudsing in sink, Alex cornered us in the den, football droning TV static. Group huddle, grin wide but sensing storm. Mark cleared throat, remote clicking off, silence swelling. Son, Ethan and I, we need to talk. Alex's face shifted, confusion to chill. What? You two plotting against me? I swallowed, mouth dry as dust. It's about us. Me and your dad. Words spilled then, halting, honest. The ride, the kiss, the fall. Mark's hand found mine under the table, squeeze bruising. Alex's eyes widened, color draining, chair scraping back sharp. You. What? Disbelief cracked to hurt, raw as fresh wound. My best friend? My dad. Voice rose, fists clenching, betrayal etching lines young face shouldn't know. Alex, please. Mark started, but sun bolted, door slamming echo thunder. Rain started again, fitting. Mark followed, calls lost in downpour. I sat frozen, Heart splintered, the den's warmth mocking. Mom's hand on shoulder later, silent comfort, but damage done. Night fell heavy, house creaking sighs. Alex locked in room, Mark paced porch, cigarette glow flickering regret. I curled on guest bed, sheet stiff, tears soaking pillow, love's cost, paid in full. Climax hovered, unresolved, family fracturing, but in the break maybe rebirth. The fallout lingered like smoke after fire, acrid and clinging, tainting every breath. Days post-confession blurred into a tense standoff. Alex's door a barricade, his texts to me cold silences where once emojis flew free. The house hummed with unspoken accusations. Forks scraping plates too loud at breakfast, Mom's forced cheer cracking like thin ice. Mark moved like a ghost, early to the garage, late from, grease under nails his only words. Me? I hid in plain sight, helping Mom with pies that overflowed counter sticky sweet. The oven's heat no match for the chill in my chest. "He'll come around," she murmured one afternoon. Rolling dough with rhythmic thuds, flour dusting air like snow. Her eyes, kind and knowing, held no judgment. Only quiet ache for her boys. But doubt gnawed. Had I stolen his father, his trust, in one selfish swoop? Nights, Mark slipped into my room after midnight chimes, door whispering shut. We'd lie still at first, just holding. His body spooning mine, arm heavy over waist, breath warm on neck-stirring hairs. "Love you," he'd murmur into darkness, voice gravel worn smooth by worry. Kisses followed, slow and seeking, hands mapping familiar paths but gentler now, reverent as prayer. Sex was hushed, urgent, bodies joining quiet under quilts, gasps muffled in pillows, the bedframe's faint creak a secret symphony. After, tangled limbs, his fingers traced my spine, lazy rivers. "We'll fix this." For him. But fixing felt futile. Thanksgiving stretched endless, turkey carcass picked clean, bones like our fractured bonds. Alex emerged for meals, monosyllabic grunts his reply, eyes avoiding mine. Hurt etched deep, a canyon widening. One evening, bonfire in the pit, sparks spiraling lazy into black. He sat across flames, beer in hand, face flickering orange. "Why him?" burst out sudden, voice cracking over crackle. Of all people. I leaned forward, heat licking shins, smoke stinging eyes. Didn't choose. Happened. Like breathing. Pause, wood popping sharp. "You're still my brother, Alex. Always." He scoffed, bottleneck clinking teeth. "Brother? You fucked my dad, Ethan. How's that brotherly?" Venom-laced but under pain raw bleeding. Mark from the shadows stepped in. "Your anger's fair. Mine too. This mess I made." Voice steady, but hands clenched, knuckles white. "But love, it don't play fair." Alex's laugh bitter, hollow. "Love? That's what you call sneaking around my back." Stood abrupt, chair toppling, firelight dancing wild on his face. "You both make me sick." Stomped inside, screen door banging echo. Silence fell heavy as ash. Mark's hand found mine across pit, squeezed desperate. Give him time. But time felt like sand slipping, grains lost forever. Break ended. Bus back to campus a rattle of isolation. Fields white frosted, my reflection hollow-eyed in window. Texts from Mark daily, he spoke to me today. Progress. Heart lifted, fragile, but Alex's silence deafened. Finals loomed. Library stacks my refuge, pages rustling like whispers. Studied till eyes burned, highlighter streaks bleeding ink like tears. One night, snow started, fat flakes silent outside, blanketing world pure. Phone buzzed. Alex. Meet at the diner? 10 p.m. Pulse raced, coat yanked on, boots crunching fresh powder to the neon glow hole in wall. Diner smelled of fry oil and pie crust, booths vinyl cracked. Alex slid in opposite, hood up, face gaunt under ball cap. Coffee, he ordered, voice flat, steam rising black. We sat thick air, spoon clinking mug. Hate you, he started. No preamble, eyes hard. For lying. For everything. Pause, sip scalding. But miss my friend. Miss Dad smiling. Relief flooded, warm as the radiators hum. Miss you too. Every day. Hand half extended, but he waved off, wall still up. Talk tumbled then. Halting. Honest. Betrayals sting. Confusions whirl. He's lonely, Alex. Been since mom. Soft probing. I see him. Really see. Alex's jaw worked. Sigh long. Doesn't make it right. But tone softened. Fracture mending slow. Just. No more secrets. Promise. Promise. Pinky swear across table. Childish but binding. His grip fierce. Outside. Snow swirled. Street lamps halos. Walked him to truck. Flakes melting on lashes. Hug awkward at first, then tight. Bones pressing apology. Talk soon, he mumbled into shoulder. Yeah. Drove separate ways, wipers swiping white, hope thawing ice. Back at dorm, Mark waited. Text. How'd it go? Called him, voice spilling joy. His laugh booming relief through speaker. Come home soon. Need you. Winter break dawned white. Roads slick. Arrived to house buried drifts. Mom's embrace flowery from cookies. Alex greeted wary but warm. Fist bump tentative. Mark in kitchen, eyes lighting subtle for us. Evenings rebuilt. Board games crackling fire. Laughter tentative but growing. Monopoly hotels stacking fortunes. One night, Alex pulled me aside, hallway shadows. Saw you too. The looks. Blunt, breath minty. Froze, throat tight. Alex. He held hand. It's weird. Gross even. But if he smiles like that, maybe okay. Grin crooked, healing. Just don't make me walk in on shit. Laughter burst. Tension shattering like ice. Brother back. Bonds reforged. But emotion peaked Christmas Eve, snow globe world outside. After carols and eggnog spice, family slept. House hushed. Mark and I in garage, tree lights twinkling through window, his gift. A leather bracelet, etched initials, slipped on wrist warm. Forever? He whispered, kneeling sudden, ring box velvet. Tears blurred, yes choked out, kiss sealed, snow tapping pain's soft benediction. Climax not destruction, but dawn, love's messy grace. Spring unfurled green and greedy, thawing more than earth. Our lives blooming tentative, roots seeking light. Campus greened with crocuses pushing defiant through melt. Air humming promise of renewal. Alex and I rebuilt steady. Pick-up games on the quad, sticks cracking balls, sweat mingling with banter reborn. You're slow today, old man, he'd taunt, dodging my check, grin wide as the field. Watch it, punk. Laughter free, but glances to my wrist, bracelet glinting. Held new layers, acceptance quiet woven. He didn't ask about Mark, but nods at mention spoke volumes. Truce earned, not given. Mark's texts evolved, less urgent, more woven daily. Fixed the Ford. Thinking of you. Garage visits homeward weekends now open, doors ajar. Alex's truck sometimes parked, his wave casual from the porch. Inside, underhood lights buzz. Mark's hands on me shifted. Less frantic, more claiming. Back against tool chest, his mouth tracing collarbone slow, eliciting sighs that echoed tools clinks. One April afternoon, rain pattering roof like fingers, he pulled me to the truck bed, tarps soft under us. Marry me proper? Voice husky, ring from pocket, simple band, silver promise. I nodded, tears salt-kissed, bodies joining in rhythm rains. Deep, unhurried, waves building to crest that left us gasping, intertwined. But conflict lingered shadows. Whispers at family barbecues. Mom's knowing smiles masking worry lines. Happy? She'd ask, dishing coleslaw tangy, eyes searching. More than. Truth bone deep. Yet Alex's occasional flinch. When Mark's hand brushed mine casual. Stung reminder. Wound scar, don't vanish. Summer scorched in, asphalt shimmering waves. I interned at the garage, oil under nails badge of belonging. Wrench turns sinking with Mark's hums. Old tunes radio crackled. Alex joined shifts, trio under hoods, banter flowing grease slick. Pass the socket, he'd say, tossing rags, our laughter mingling exhaust tang. One sweltering July eve, shop closing bell clanged, air thick humidity. Customers gone, lights dimmed. Alex lingered, wiping brow. Hey, about you too. Hesitant, crate perch creak. It's real, huh? Not some phase. Heart squeezed, but met eyes steady. Real as this place. Love him, Alex. Love you too. Different, but same weight. He nodded slow, sigh released like steam. Took time. Seeing Dad. Alive again? Worth it. Fist bump, solid. Just treat him right, or I'll kick your ass. Promise sealed. Beers cracked after. Fizz hissing cool. Trio toast. Glasses clink, foam overflow. Family reforged, queer and queerer. Fall semester whirlwind. Classes stacking syllabi thick. Lacrosse drills mud slick. Mark drove up weekends. Truck loaded coolers. Subs dripping mayo. His kisses stolen in dorm lots. Fogged windows shields. Missed this, he'd groan. Hands under shirt. Campus lights distant stars. But climax brewed subtle. Wedding whispers. Small. Mark insisted over diner hash browns crisp. Syrup sticky fingers. Just us, Alex, your folks. Excitement bubbled, but nerves coiled. Vows under Ohio oaks. Rings exchanging sun dappled. Planned quiet. Venue a lakeside pavilion. Air lilac scent. Waves lapping vows. Rehearsal dinner eve. Backyard strung lights fairy soft. Grill smoke curling. Alex best man. Suit crisp. Toast slurred sentimental. To Ethan, stole my dad. Gave me back a better one. Laughter tiered. Hugs tight. Night before, Mark and I in the old room. Sheets crisp linen. Scared? He whispered. Fingers interlacing. Moonlight silvering scars. Terrified. Admission soft. But his kiss. Deep, anchoring, dissolved fear. Love-making tender. Bodies whisper-mapped. Breaths sinking like tides. But yours. Wedding day dawned golden. Lake mirror smooth. I waited dock end. Suit linen light. Heart thunder. Alex beside. Squeeze reassuring. You clean up nice. Music swelled. Acoustic guitar plucks. And Mark appeared path. Eyes locked mine. Steps sure. Vows simple, voices steady. In all weathers, all ways, I choose you. Rings slid cool. Kiss ceiling, salt lip. Crowd cheer soft ripple. Reception pavilion danced. Feet shuffling grass. Cake vanilla sweet. Alex pulled us aside later. Champagne bubbles fizzing. Proud of you both. Hug group. Bonds iron. Honeymoon cabin woods. Pine resin air. Fire crackle nights. Days hike trails leaf crunched. Nights tangled furs. His body home. Familiar. Forever. Back. Life settled. Shared apartment town edge. Morning's coffee brewed. His kiss goodbye garage bound. Alex visited Sundays. Pizza boxes grease spot. Stories spilling easy. Emotions arc crested not in storm, but sun. Love's quiet thunder. Meaningful in mending. Years wove us tighter. Threads of routine and rupture blending tapestry rich. Apartment traded for house. Rambler with garage double wide. Mark's domain expanded. My study nook bookshelves groaning. Morning's ritual. Coffee percolating gurgle. his arm slung waist as I stirred eggs sizzle, kiss tasting grounds bittersweet. Work steadied. Me teaching high school lit, chalk dust lungs, kids' essays sparking his old tales retold. Read this, I'd say evenings, porch swing creak, his head shoulder, laugh rumbling at teen angst mirrored hours. Alex married first, summer wedding, barn doors flung, hayloft twine lights. We sat front, hands clasped hidden, tears pricking his vows echo ours. To family, he toasted us later, glass clink, eyes warm, no shadows. But life lapped tides. Arguments flared kitchen hot, over bills or silences, voices rising tile echo, doors slammed punctuation. You shut down, I'd accuse, pacing linoleum cool, heart raw. And you push, retort sharp, but make up swift. Apologies whispered bed, bodies bridging gaps, touches healing words wounds. Sorry, breathed against neck, forgiveness in arch. Milestones marked. Anniversary lake revisit, picnic spread, his ring glint sun. Still speechless. Tease low, hand thigh trail. Every day, truth deepened. Conflict resurfaced subtle. Health scare, his cough persistent, doc's office sterile chill. Early treatable. Verdict, but fear gripped nights. His hand mine clammy, breath's shallow worry. Chemo days dragged. Infusions drip slow, his frame thinning, stubble gone smooth. I read aloud bedside, voices characters are anchor. Dostoevsky depths mirroring souls. Alex visited, bringing burgers contraband, jokes cracking sterile air. Remission rang bells hospital hall, confetti paper flutter. Homecoming feast, his laugh weak but real, spoon soup steam curl. Parenthood pondered quiet. Adoption papers ink fresh, social worker nods approving. Little Jamie arrived whirlwind. Toddler curls wild, eyes hazel like his. Nights paced floorboards creak. Mark's hum lullaby low, my arm round waist support. Dad, Jamie lisped first to him. Garage stool perch, wrench tiny mimic. Mark's eyes misted, hug enveloping. Our boy. Alex's kids tumbled visits. Cousin chaos backyard chase. Laughter peeling free. Look what you started. He'd grin, beer foam lip. Family swelled, roots deep. Aging crept graceful. Silver threading my hair, his laugh lines etched joy. Retirement neared, garage sold, travels planned, Route 66 rumble. Diners pie a la mode. One autumn eve, leaves fire orange crunch, porch rockers sink. Best ride ever, he murmured, hand gnarled but sure in mine. Left me breathless, kiss soft, sunset gilding. Emotions crescendo not grand, but gathered, love's harvest, meaningful in every shared breath. Decades danced on, seasons cycling faithful, winter's woodstove crackle, summer's lake dip splash. House sagged gentle, walls photo pained. Jamie's grad cap toss, Alex's wedding waltz, our silver vows renewed dockside, waves applaud. Health's thief returned sly, ache in his chest, doc's frown deepen. Manageable, but shadows lengthened, his steps slower stair creak. I cooked favorites, meatloaf onion sweet, his fork scrape plate content sigh. Still the best, voice thin, but eyes spark undimmed. Jamie home weekends, now man broad-shouldered, stories grad school spill. Tell me about the ride. He'd coax, fire poker stir ember glow. Mark chuckled wheeze, hand mine squeeze. One lift, lifetime, tail spun soft, details blurred but heart true. Boy, dad, love unforeseen. Alex, graying ponytail, brought grandkids romping, shrieks yard echo. Grandpa Mark, tugs pant, his lap thrown, stories spun tall. Nights, bed dipped middle, his head chest pillow, heartbeat thrum faint but fierce. Ethan, whisper often, name talisman, kisses featherlight, hands wander memory traced, intimacy tender, caresses evoking youth's fire, now embers warm. Spring bloomed defiant, dogwoods pink confetti, walk slow park path, bench perch, heron stalk pond still. Ready? He'd ask, eyes knowing. Always. Arm link, step sync. Summer solstice eve, garage cleared relics, his chair thrown. Remember, gnawed workbench, ghost touches. Every scar, Neil head his lap, fingers hair thread silver. Autumn painted fierce, leaves pyre burn, cough deepened, oxygen hiss constant. Hospice bed home, window maple view flame. Family gathered, Jamie's hand his, Alex's stories loop, grandkids' drawings crayon bright. Mom, aged graceful, soup ladle steam. Love you, chorus soft. Last dawn, light slant gold, his breath ease. Rides waiting, murmur, smile faint. Hand mine last hold, pulse flutter by. He slipped quiet, birdsong herald. Grief tsunami, waves crash chest hollow, nights sob-racked, days numb fog. Garage echo empty, truck tarp draped dust. But memories anchor, his laugh boom, touch electric, love's blueprint etched soul. Jamie hugged tight one night, whiskey burn. He'd say keep driving. Alex nodded, eyes wet. One hell of a passenger. Time tempered. Tears salt seasoned. Smiles return tentative. I gardened roses thorn prick, but bloom stubborn. Wrote letters unsent, words pour catharsis. Anniversary lake, alone but not. Ashes scattered ripple, sun diamond dance. Miss you, whisper wind carry. Heron lifts, wing beat echo heart. Years later, gray full, I mentored kids queer quiet, stories shared circle. Love finds roads unexpected. Take the ride. Ending not loss, but legacy. Meaningful in lives touched, bonds eternal. One ride left me speechless, but oh, the words it birthed.